Hello there everybody, good day to you guys. Welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you guys are here. I am super glad to be here as always. I have an entire yard full of customers' cars out here, and I actually got to work on one of mine today. We had a check engine light come on Lauren's Tahoe over here. It's a 2015, 2016 Chevrolet Tahoe, 5.3 liter, two-wheel drive, and it had a check engine light come on. She called me yesterday on her way home and was kind of a little bit nervous about it because she said she pulled out and it just didn't have any power, didn't want to go, and she was concerned about wrecking the car and didn't know if it was safe. I had her pull over, shut it off, restart it. She said it was still feeling kind of shaky, and she pulled out, got a little pocket scan tool down here. She pulled out the scanner and it, come here you, and it pulled up a code. The code was, I think, P0208, cylinder 8 misfire. And I was like, all right, I'm on the phone with her. Plug in you. I told her just go ahead and keep driving it home since it's a misfire. You have lack of power, so use caution when pulling out into traffic, and we'll deal with it tomorrow. Well, today is tomorrow, and I'm gonna pull this in and we're gonna diagnose it at 216,967 miles on the odometer. Now, I drove this to work today and it's got a dead cylinder misfire. Check engine light is currently flashing right now. Look at that, flashing at idle. That means it is 1000% misfiring. Now, what's the difference between a check engine light just being on and one flashing? Well, a flashing check engine light typically is an indicator that the conditions for catalytic converter damage are present. Ergo, there's raw fuel in the exhaust. Typically a misfire will present raw fuel because if it's not firing, then the fuel cannot become burnt and you'll be dumping raw fuel through your catalyst bed, which is what will destroy your converter, which is remarkably expensive to replace. Those things are not cheap. They're full of platinum and rhodium and palladium and all kinds of other metals that we can't pronounce that cost a whole lot of money. So we don't want to destroy that converter. Now, on my way to work this morning, I saw that 308 cylinder 8 misfire, okay? Let's go to the next ETC. Look at that, P0208. That states injector circuit is open on cylinder number 8, injector circuit. So the ECM has detected that one of the fuel injector wires is not giving feedback back to the ECM. There's 2 wires per injector, 8 injectors total. It's a V8 engine, 2 wires per injector, a positive and a ground. Off. The positives are typically always hot at the injector, and then the PCM will ground each individual injector depending on when it wants that injector to fire. That's typically how the system operates. So when the PCM commands a ground on an injector so the injector solenoid can open and the fuel can spray, if it doesn't see a voltage change on the line, it's going to hypothesize that the circuit is open, disconnected, not connected, broken wire, failed solenoid, things of that nature. It'll say that the circuit is open, and that is the P0208. The PCM has detected that the circuit for injector number 8 is open. Now, what does this mean and what does this not mean? Part numbers are not trouble codes, and trouble codes are not part numbers. So that does not mean it needs a fuel injector. It could, but that's not the end all be all here. Let us pop an easy hood, and we're gonna start digging into this thing and getting after it and diagnosing it to see what the problem is. So stay tuned. This is gonna be a very good video. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah?
So I was watching a video on my phone from the video you posted this morning.
Which one?
And, it's the one about the $10,000 repair.
Oh, that Expedition, that black one? Yeah.
And so I'm like, why isn't my volume working? And I'm looking at everything, and then I saw that the Tahoe was in here, and I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's funny, because I was talking to everybody about the P0208, and the radio turned on and started making a bunch of noise. I didn't hear myself. As soon as I heard the noise, I turned it off. But that's funny that you were the culprit of such things.
Yeah.
Yepper. All right, so this is our LT engine. This is a 5.3 liter V8, similar to the LS's, but this has direct injection. DI means that the fuel is injected directly into the combustion chamber. Typically on like a port injection engine, you would have the fuel injectors in the airstream, and as the valves open, the air is allowed in, and then the fuel injector will spray, and then the air will carry the fuel into the cylinder. This is set up similar to a diesel engine, where the injector goes all the way through the head into the combustion chamber, and that's where the fuel is directly sprayed, hence the term DI, direct injection. Okay, this thing is actually a phenomenal piece of engineering. It makes an incredible amount of power for the physical size of the engine, and it's actually very efficient. I think it's one of the best designs ever made, as long as they can keep the lifters from collapsing and keep the camshafts from wiping themselves out. And if you got a 6.2, you got to keep the crankshaft inside of the block. But other than that, fantastic motors. So I got a cool idea. I'm interested to see if artificial intelligence can diagnose this car better than I can. So I asked Super Grok, because I got the Grok app. You know, I don't have AI, it's just the Grok, because I heard it can edit photos, which it's horrendous at.
This cutaway reveals the heart of the Ford 3.5 EcoBoost. The chain synchronizes the camshafts and crankshaft for precise valve timing. The phasers adjust cam timing for optimal power and efficiency.
Anyway, I got a hold of a Super Grok, and I think I should ask it to help us diagnose this car right here. So I said to it, I said, Grok, my 2015 Chevrolet Tahoe has a P0208. Can you help me diagnose it? And it says, thoughts, question mark. The P0208 means, my phone fell over. P0208 means the injector circuit is open on cylinder number 8. Okay, that's what the scan tool told us on your 2015 Chevy Tahoe. He said, or it said, it's likely the 5.3 V8 in parentheses. The PCM detects an electrical issue in the control circuit for the number 8 fuel injector. Okay, I'm tracking here. It can be open, shorted, or out of spec. All right, so it can be shorted together, disconnected, or just out of resistance range. That makes sense. Common symptoms are a rough idle or a misfire in cylinder 8, engine shaking. Engine light may flash if misfiring badly. Reduced power, poor fuel economy, or hesitation. This vehicle experiences all of these symptoms. This goes on to say that cylinder 8 is on the back passenger right side, the rearmost cylinder towards the back of the cab, which that's correct. Cylinder 8 is back there on this particular engine. So far the Super Grok seems to have some level of accuracy here. Access is tight. You may need to work from under the fender to remove the wheel well liner. Nah, I don't think so. We're not doing that. So moving on, diagnostic steps. It says start here in a safe and logical order. It wants me to be safe and logical. That's interesting. It says scan for codes, not any companions like P0308, companions, cylinder 8 misfire, P300, or others. That didn't make any sense. Oh, note and not. It says note any companions like P308 or P300. Yes, it has the 308 and a P300. Yep. So Grok's accurate. It wants me to do an easy visual inspection first. It says unplug the fuel injector connector on cylinder 8. Look for corrosion, bent pins, burnt, melted plastic, or damage. Visual inspection on cylinder 8 injector. Well, all right there, Grok, you're getting kind of dumb, because we cannot perform a visual inspection on the cylinder 8 because it's located under this intake manifold in the valley. That's where they are located. They're no longer outside where you can gain access to them. They're down below. So Grok, I'm afraid I cannot perform the easy visual inspection. You are incorrect. So I must remove the intake manifold in order to do such things. So that's not the easiest first. But the procedure is right. Check the connector, the plug, the wiring. Check the harness for chafing, brakes, rodent damage. It's common near the hot exhaust or moving parts. I don't know if rodents hang out near hot exhaust or moving parts, but okay, Grok. Says to wiggle the connector and the harness while monitoring for code changes or misfire. Intermittent issues are common. Well, I can't run the engine and wiggle the connector while monitoring for misfire changes because I have to remove the intake manifold. So Grok, you're getting kind of stupid now. Not worried about you taking my job. It moves on to step 3, says test the injector resistance. This is a key test, that's in parentheses. Use a multimeter set to ohms. Measure across the 2 terminals on the injector compared to a known good injector on another cylinder. All right, well, what's a known good injector? How about just give me the spec? It's an all-knowing artificial intelligence, right? You should know the spec. It goes on to say the specs may vary by source, but are typically in the 1 to 3 ohm range. On these low impedance injectors, well, no, they don't vary by source. The specification is the specification. So is it 1 to 3 ohms, or like, is the spec 1.5 or 2.5 or 2.2 or 3.1 or 1.6 ohm? What's the actual spec? There is a number, but it's not listed here. It says check power and ground. With the key on, one side of the connector should have battery voltage. We talked about that, 12 volts all the time. The PCM pulses the ground side. A Noid light or test light can show if the PCM is commanding the injector. Yeah, we have little flashy light bulbs you plug into the injector, and it will flash once the PCM commands the ground signal. Do a swap test. Great for confirmation. Swap the number 8 injector with a neighboring injector if accessible. Clear the codes and see if the codes move with the injector. Well, that's kind of dumb, because you can't really do that. I'm going to show you why. We're going to pick up on what Grok is babbling on about in a minute. Let's go ahead and break out some tools and pull this intake manifold off the engine. Let us start with some connectors. We'll get rid of this map sensor connector right here. All this has to be unplugged. Then we'll get the throttle body over here on this side. Release. There we go. Alternator, we can disconnect you. There we go. And I need to start disconnecting the harness off this top piece of plastic trim right here. Additionally, we have to disconnect all of the ignition coils. They're located under these valve cover covers. And these PCV hoses also should be removed. Get those out of the way. Throw those up there so they don't get lost. Very good. Just put that back by the brake booster. You know, I don't think I have had this intake manifold off of this truck ever. And we've owned this for 80,000 miles now, I think. 60, something like that. And I've never had this apart. It's my first time servicing this truck. Well, the engine, anyway. I've done services to it, but a lot of them actually. Put a transmission in it, fixed the AC, did some fluids and some tune-ups. Let's get this guy pulled off the water pump just so we have some more slack. Same thing on that connector there. There's a few more connectors way down under the throttle body. You can't see, but ow, it's hot in there too. I might save that for later. Yeah, it's a little warm. I'm not going in there. Let's see. There's our purge valve. This connector here for this purge valve is remarkably difficult to remove without breaking it because it's pointing down. I've found that if you just remove that 10 mil nut right there and just pull the whole valve out, you can just flop it off to the side. It's a little easier to do it that way. All right, coming in with the 10. Now that's an awkward angle for that bolt. So it should be advised to be very careful when putting that back in, because it's easy to start this bolt cross-threaded. Watch it, see, look at that. I can start it just like that, cross-threaded. It's very easy to do, so you gotta be super careful when reinstalling these purge valves right here. So this guy, I can just flop that off to the side. And I believe we're getting real close to pulling off all the fasteners here for, I just broke that, look at that. It broke right off. Popped right off there. Yeah, we're real close to getting a hold of the fasteners for the actual intake. We got 5 on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. I think it's 6 on this engine. Set them on that side all in a row and set on this side. So I'm gonna pull back the rest of these harnesses and whatnot, and we'll get this thing on bolted. So if you look down there, you see one of the bolts. And if we look straight down, there she is. There's one down there. down there and then all the way back until you can't reach that one in the corner, which is super hard to get. So all we need to do is come in here with a swivel 10 millimeter and a series of extensions. And we'll pull all these guys loosey-goosey. Is battery dead? Sure is. Tactical reload. More speed. Much better. I have a restoration of torque. There we go. Okay, that's one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts all the way down. I've got 2 on this side. Let's get those remainders. That back one's the bear. Ooh, don't fall. All right, crawling in. I'm up on a ladder trying to get back here. Oh man. I can see the tip of the bolt through this little hole here. My extension's almost not long enough to reach it. Yeah, it's not long enough. Oh, need more extension. If we only add just 1 more inch to our wobbly bits. Let's try again. I see the bolt. Okay, that's not the hard one because there's 1 more a little further back. And then that's the hard one. Give me that socket back. There it is, right back there. See extension? So now, drop that flashlight down there again. I think that's it. There she goes. Whew. The abs. Serious ab workout. For like 7 minutes. 7-minute abs. All right, let's see if this thing's gonna crack loose on us or not. Sure is. So we just need to lift and kind of wiggle this unit forward. There is a wiring harness on the back of this that should be plugged in to this top shroud thing, and we have to disconnect it, which is hard to do because you can't reach the little push connector things that secures it. So you have to pull it back as much as you can, reach around it with your trim tool, and pry it out. I will demonstrate. There's the harness. Right here is the bracket, and then there's these little push tab things that come through. This is also how I know that I don't think this manifold has ever been removed, because nobody puts these back behind this manifold, because it's nearly impossible to do. Push that one out. I can tell you right now, I'm not putting those back on. When I put this back in, I mean, maybe I'm nobody and I'm the only guy, but it's hard enough to take this out. I can't imagine putting them back in. All right. Now it's time for the fun part. Getting into my work. So I got to reach around the backside with one arm so I can feel where that push pin is, and then go around with a short trim tool to try to pry the thing out. Can't see it. Barely feel it. There we go. I think I got it all. I don't know if there's two connectors or just the one. Just the one. Or no, there was more than that. I guess one of them I popped off inadvertently. Yeah, that's the one I just pried. Right there. And there was that one. We saw this one from the outside, and then that's the one at the bottom. Yeah, nobody puts this thing back on. It plugs in here, 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 and here. You can't remove this plastic business on the top to gain access, or to get it out of the way, because the harness is connected to the plastic shroud. That just bolts on here and here. It really serves no purpose except to look pretty, because the molding is better looking here than in the actual intake down below. Anyway, this thing's out of the way. Shoe. Set her down over here. Stay right there. We get rid of this sound deadening mat thing right here, and that's going to expose to us some fuel injectors. Try to do this without dumping sand in the intakes. Sure, I could probably cover them up, but where's the fun in that? Living on the edge. There we go. Come on, sandy intake. All right, so where does that leave us? Let's check out our fuel system. Got our fuel line coming in right here. That's from the tank. Goes down this metal fitting into the high pressure fuel pump. This runs off the back of the camshaft. There's like a cam lobe that runs a push rod that operates a plunger inside of this pump. And this pump takes our fuel pressure from 60, 70 PSI and runs it up to a few hundred PSI. Very similar, like I mentioned earlier, to a diesel. It'll then take that several hundred PSI fuel, send it into these fuel rails on either head, which is then attached to each individual injector, which runs down into, of course, the combustion chambers. So our AI Grok wants us to wiggle this connector while the engine's running and see if the misfire goes away, something along those lines. Let's go back and check with Grok and see what we should do next. So right over here, we're gonna find our number 8 fuel injector. Let's get that red safety clip thing disconnected. And let's electronically disconnect this injecting unit. Oh, come off there. It's hot. Everything's hot in here. I can't get it to release. Yeah, no. Need tools. There we go. Couldn't squeeze the little clip thing. So there's our connector. Loose bent pins. No, I don't see any of those. Let's get the meter out, check for powers and grounds with key on, and kind of go from there. And it will detect open circuit. So when we go back in later and see a bunch of DTCs, it's really not much to really concern ourselves about. Let's move that where you can see it. So without even looking at diagrams or specs, I'm thinking we can check for our 12 volts here, make sure that injector is getting powered. I've got the other lead here on the battery ground to the left out of frame. It says 5.46 volts. That's weird. That was 12 volt. Let's compare it with another one real fast, just to see. Seriously? There we go. into the battery. And 5.46 volts. All right, so that's consistent across 2 cylinders. So let's double check and make sure we don't need 6 volts and we're not supposed to be looking for 5 volts here. There is a power problem. Alrighty, we're at the all data. Got a 2015 Tahoe pulled up. We're gonna pull up wiring diagrams and we're gonna be looking for powertrain management. And under powertrain management, we should find engine controls. And in engine controls, scrolling down, I'm looking for injectors, injectors. I found coils. Here's coils. Fuel injectors right here. So under fuel injectors, let's zoom it in. There's number 8 right there. So number 8 injector, 2 wires, a gray and a gray with a white tracer. One of them runs down to the ECM. That's our power side. And then the other wire runs right over also to the ECM, that's our ground side. So each injector has 2 wires directly from the ECM, the power side and the ground side. So I'm assuming that key on, engine off, that 5 volts on the line was going to be normal because it is across 2 injectors. So I don't think there's a wiring problem there, and I don't think there's a short there. Okay, let's go ask Grok what he thinks we should do next. Okay, so after the wiggle test that we're supposed to perform while the engine's running to see if any of the data or misfire changes, we can't do that. It wants us to do a resistance check, key off. It says unplug the number 8 injector, measure the resistance across 2 terminals of the injector, not the harness side, but the injector side. And it's, oh, now it gives me a spec. It says spec is approximately 12 to 30 ohms at room temperature. This is a hot engine, so that's going to change resistance. All injectors should read very close to each other within 0.5 to 1 ohms. A low reading is going to be like 1 to 5 ohms. That's a shorted injector. An open or very high is also a bad injector due to open circuit. I'm reading verbatim. It wants me to do a swap test for best confirmation. It says swap test. Swap the number 8 injector with a known good one, e.g. number 7 or number 6, reassemble, clear the codes, test drive, blah, 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 blah. So it wants me to swap an injector, put it all back together, then test drive it, okay? Really? Is that right? Okay, hang on a sec. Hey, Grok. Poor connection. There you go, it's listening now. You asked me to swap a fuel injector with another injector on the engine, comma, backspace, period, space. Grok is stupid. My question for you is, how do I do that, considering that the fuel lines are one-time use only, and the injector seals / O-rings located within the cylinder heads will become damaged upon removal? Question mark. Let's see what Grok has to say about that. So I asked it, no response. Really? I'm going to resubmit my question. I'm going to copy that same question. I'm going to paste that same question. It's thinking about it. Oh, it's going to ask the internet. Look, it's Google searching forums. And failed to send request. All right, let's do it again. It's still Googling. Got it. Good call on the realities of the L83. Oh, thank you for validating that you're an idiot. All right. Swapping for pure diagnosis is more work than ideal because of the one-time use high pressure fuel pipes and fuel injector seals that get damaged on removal. He's just repeating what I said. Here's the practical approach tailored to your shop. You didn't know I was in a shop. Do the easy non-invasive test first. Skip straight there if you haven't. It says do key off, unplug the injector, check resistance, with another injector. If there's a big difference, that's a bad injector. Do a visual inspection, which we've done, check for other codes on the misfire, blah, 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 that's not count. So it kind of gave me a non-answer. For a true swap test or replacement, most techs pull the entire fuel rail assembly with the injectors attached. It's the cleanest way to minimize handling of individual injector pressure lines. Sure, it's giving me steps on how to prep the area, how to remove it, disconnect the harnesses, all that crap. Remove the high pressure pipes. Yep, these are one-time use only. I'm glad you picked up on that, Grok. Order replacements gives me some remove the fittings or loose, whatever. Yeah, I don't care about what that says. On both the fuel rails, swap it on the bench. Okay, replace all the seals. Yeah, but Grok, how do I get my customer to pay for all of this? Isn't there a better, more efficient way? Let's see what it says now. Because I mean, we're just diagnosing it. It wants me to take all this apart and swap injectors over. If I take it apart, we have to replace these two fuel lines right here. So that's already going to cost like $200 just to take it apart. Oh yeah, there is a smarter, more efficient path, it says. Both for diag and repair. As a shop owner, you know the realities of DI system. I don't, just stop validating what I already know. Leave me alone. Prioritize non-invasive steps first. So now it's just repeating itself. So basically the AI is giving us these generic responses, and then when you challenge it, it smugly kind of tells you the same thing it already told you. It just rewords it. So it's not providing any actual value that I can't get with a Google search by reading myself. I'm not convinced that AI is here to take our jobs. I'm more convinced that this is just the .com bubble 2.0. And it's 1,000 times larger than the .com bubble because we're building data centers the size of space stations. For no reason? Well, there is a reason, but people like you and I don't know. But I'm really wondering why we're processing all of this data or developing the capabilities to process all of it. For what? So you can not diagnose my car? So you can take my job? I think there's more to this AI thing than what we all think. I bet it's the Antichrist. All right, now that I've successfully determined that Grok cannot diagnose this car correctly, let's go ahead and actually diagnose the car correctly, okay? Because the strategy that Grok wanted is ridiculous, so I'm gonna do what I know how to do. We're gonna take the meter back out. I mean, the Grok did say to ohm everything out, and it suggested it, but its method and the practical application of the Grok did not know what it was talking about. So yes, the bullet points that it gathered from searching the internet was somewhat accurate, but it doesn't understand the reality of actually working, and it could not answer the questions of how do I charge for this and how do I make this fair and things like that. So I'm discrediting Grok. So we're gonna move on and actually test this thing out. What I'm gonna do is take the meter and we're just gonna ohm resistance on some fuel injectors here. I've unplugged all 8 injectors, and we're just gonna get a baseline reading of the current resistance levels here. So switch that to ohmages. It's the meter touching 0.3 ohms. And then, hang on, I might have to chopstick this. There we go, chopsticks. Front row. There we go, 1.4 ohms on that one. Let's check this next one. 1.5 ohms on that one. Let's check our suspected bad cylinder back here, or suspected faulty injector. You know what I'm talking about. And this one is giving us an OL. Check it one more time, make sure my pins are connecting properly. OL is no resistance. It's just sitting there not doing anything, which is consistent with our trouble code definition. And yeah, we're not getting anything out of that one. So, all right. What Grok should have said was remove intake manifold, and it should have been able to give me more defined steps on how to do this, because it didn't know that the intake manifold had to be removed. So with the intake manifold removed, with some plugs in the holes, I'm going to get rid of all the sand because we've got to pull these fuel rails off. We have a bad injector. That's a confirmed kill. We had resistance, a certain measurement at a certain temperature. Temperature is the same on that injector. No measurement capable out of the meter. I conclude we have a failed injector. So let's desand this. Okay, now we're cleanish. Let's get some of the stuff out of the way that we don't need in here any longer. Some of these tools, clean the area up some, and we're going to prepare to remove the fuel rails and all 8 injectors. I'm going to order the whole set, and here's my logic. 200 something thousand miles on that set, right? One of them just failed randomly out of nowhere. So the conditions that this injector has been living in are the same conditions as all the other ones. So it stands to reason, since that one has reached point of failure, these others are nearing a point of failure. So I'm changing all of them. We will begin with the circular non-scissors. This is the fuel line release tool, right? Ooh, hang on. We will begin by removing that 10mm nut right there, because that line is fairly rigid-ish. Ow. Okay, never mind. I need to remove more than just that, I think. I need to pull the cover off of the valve cover. Dipstick tube, the dipstick comes out. Plastic. That back on so it stays clean. And then our 10mm for the fuel line bracket. There we go. So now we'll come back over here and I can move that fuel line again. Yeah, that's better. We're going to push the line in, wrap this around the other side of the line, wiggle it forward, which is towards us, and that should be releasing the little clips that hold this line fitting onto this pump. There we go. Take the fuel line, stick it over here, out of the way. Take some air, get rid of that stink of gas. Next up, it's going to be a 17mm wrench for these fuel line fittings. These fuel lines, as I've said a couple times, are supposed to be one-time use only, okay? I'll show you why here in a moment. Let me get this guy removed. There's one feed line from the pump to the secondary line, which then feeds, it splits right here and then feeds the 2 individual rails. The reason these are supposed to be replaced is this little ball right here. That's like a crush ball fitting, okay? When you clamp this thing down, that's supposed to deform slightly to create a perfect seal with its mating surface. Because of that, You're not supposed to reuse these. If you do reuse them, you run a severe risk of fuel leaks under high pressure, which is like an atomized fuel. So effectively, you created a fuel air explosive environment by failing to replace this $40 line right here. So in essence, you'll burn your car down by accident, risk everybody's lives. So we'll crack this other one loose. Cleaning this fuel off of here is not going to be effective. There we go. Brushless tools, so they don't throw sparks, so you don't blow yourself up. Difference between brushed and brushless. Yeah, that should be disposed of. Goodbye, all done. So now the lines are disconnected. This rail over here, I've got the injector harness disconnected. That one back there I couldn't really get to, so we're gonna pull the line out, the rail out rather, and then I can maybe reach that. I need a 13 for the bolts on each rail, 4 on each side. Is it come out? They are not. All right. So now we need to pull the rail out evenly so that all 4 injectors come out simultaneously. That's hard to do, but you go under there with a curvy angular pry bar, you can get some pretty good perpendicular forces to pull that thing away from the cylinder heads. Like I said, curvy angular pry bar, right? So we just kind of get under it. Let's change our angles of our dangles here. And we just kind of start working. I'm gonna spray some lube down in there to try to soak in to the injector nozzles, so free it up from the head. Be surprised at how much a little bit of lube can help out a certain situation. Okay. It's also important to not destroy your fuel injector wiring harnesses while prying on this thing, because the harness does run on the bottom of the injector rail right here. And if you're prying on it, you could potentially damage the harness, which will be bad. Yeah, that's in there. Come on out, fuel injectors. That was starting to move. I'm flexing the rail, not great. Whew. Yeah, just swap injectors. Just go ahead and move one to the other side. Put it in a known good location. That's so practical. Oh, come on. Yep. Well, that one's kind of coming out. All right, that one moved a little bit. This one, that number 2, or number 5 right there, or whatever cylinder that one is, I don't care. That one's the one not wanting to come out. The front one moved, the back one moved. This one's kind of moving. That one in the center is not. Not really budging. It's bothering me. Here, let's send those injectors back down in the hole. Theory is that lubricant can now work its way in a little bit and help free everything up. See, that moved a little. Okay, that injector's kind of coming out. But this one, no, just doesn't want to do it. Straight up. Oh, it moved. Yeah, it did, it moved. I have an idea. We'll go back, I'll keep constant pressure upwards on the thing, and then we'll introduce some vibrations. No help. No help. Oh, come on. If I pry any harder, I'm going to break the rail or bend it. Yeah, it's definitely this guy. Doesn't want to come out of hole. Begin releasing from hole now. Ah. I'll ruin 7 fuel injectors to try to swap 1 fuel injector. That's what we're doing here. What happens, the nozzles on these, as they're exposed in the combustion chamber, they get carbon built up on them, and then they can't come out through their borehole. And that's what's happening here is it's stuck. It's stuck a lot. Put a breaker bar on it. No, that's not gonna budge. Dang. Well, can't get it out in one piece. You can get it out in multiple pieces. There's half of what used to be a good fuel injector. Because now I can try to pry right here. More straight line uppage. Change the angle. There we go. There we go. And get some leverage on it now. See what we're doing right there? Oh man, this thing's in. It's in there, guys. Oh, I'm pulling. It's not budging. Oh, that's a lot of force. It's not budging. Not good. I have a problem. This is a big problem. that's straight up on that fuel injector, and it's not budging. Any harder, I'm gonna break it. Yeah. Dave's not here, man. I'm not here, man. I'm gonna go home sick. Yeah, look at this.
What? Why is it not coming out?
Because there's carbon on the tip of it, and it's in the combustion chamber.
It's typical diesel concern right now. That's wild.
Yup. It is not moving.
That's that one right there.
Yeah. That's not even the failed one. The bad one's the one behind it.
What the?
Yeah. Here, do me a favor, come here. Hold down on this. Just give that a tug. No, just steady. Pull steady down. Yeah. It's not gonna work.
What the?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm kind of in trouble now. I need this car to be done in 2 hours. Didn't move a millimeter. Nope, it's not moving at all. So we need to break the bond between this injector and the cylinder head. We're not gonna do that with all this stuff in the way, so I'm gonna try to pull the rail out all the way. Let's see if I can't get these clips to come off. They're not supposed to come off inside of the engine like this, but I'm gonna try it. Yeah, let's see what happens here. If I can work the rail up and off the injectors, you can at least get it out of the way, and then I can try to maybe rotate the injector some. That might do it. We gotta break the bond. That's the deal here. Well, I got it. I got it to pop off. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to miss it. I pried this rail up from over here and it popped out. The clip shouldn't have let go on that side because there's no room to release it, but I pried up enough where it popped the clip out. But I didn't catch it on the camera there, but I did get it to pop up. So let's go back around the back side here and see if that number 8 comes out. I think it should, yeah. There's number 8. And I've got the connector back there to unconnect. This one I couldn't really reach the first couple attempts. I still can't get it. Spent a good 20 minutes in here chipping away at this injector, and it's not going anywhere, so I'm starting to break it away. I'm now gonna attempt to weld a nut to it so I have something to pull off of, and then we're gonna set it on fire, and we're gonna put the fire out, and then we're gonna continue breaking this injector as it doesn't come out. You ready? Cool. Fire. Injector fire. I'm totally welding on stainless steel right now too. This is absolutely like not supposed to work this way. Do it anyway though. Cool, got all the fuel burnt out of it. I tried to blow the fuel out, it didn't really want to come out. Let's do this now. I'm putting a nut on there because I'm hoping I can take a socket and twist the nut to break the thing loose to get it to come out. That's what I'm trying to do here. My auto darken didn't work so well and I just got flash burned. That's cool. Okay, 19 socket. Kind of going over that nut that I just kind of welded on. Let's watch it break the weld and spin right out. Yeah. No way, did it turn? Oh. Okay, it sort of turned, I think. All right, we need lubricant. Oh, this is gonna be like working out a broken stud or something. Yeah, watch this. Let's go the other way. That's some motion. I think it's turning. Yeah. Let's throw some more lube in there in the hole and kind of work that thing back and forth. A little hot in there. Boiling out. Look at that. Stinky. So as I turn this, it should let that oil seep down in the hole. And that should lubricate the shaft so it can come out of the hole. So if this doesn't work, I'm in a bit of a pickle. So at this point, I'm screwed. It's over. Oh no. Ow, that was hot. It broke the injector off in the cylinder head. Well, yeah, we're screwed. At least it's my car, not a customer's. Well, here's my piece of engineering. We got this nut kind of welded to that stud that was protruding so we could put some kind of force on this thing. We got it to turn, but it twisted and broke off right here. So looking over here, one of these other ones, we have this much of the shaft still stuck in the cylinder head. Okay. So this might have just turned into a cylinder head removal job. Oh yeah, this is bad. So we're obviously not going to get it to come out, right? I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna have to shove it in, and then hopefully I can go in there and pluck it out through the spark plug hole. That's kind of my only options here. It's got to go in, or I've got to pull the cylinder head off and extract it that way. But if I do that, then we're doing a DOD delete on the thing. Darling, did you find a rental car for us?
I did. It's a Nissan Rogue.
Awesome. We drove one car today. All the cars are at my house. The kids are at a place right now where we have to pick them up. And the vehicle that was supposed to be done right now, I might have to pull the cylinder heads off.
Stop.
Let me show you.
What?
Come here. Yeah, let me show you. Oh yeah, I didn't tell her yet. I didn't tell her yet. Okay, yeah, I might.
What am I gonna do?
Nothing.
All right, let's go buy a Suburban.
No, buying a $60,000 truck is not the answer to this problem. I'll tell you the answer in a second. So what happened there, Lauren, is fuel injector, which goes into the cylinder head, it broke off. Okay, that's what came out. There's no more. I can't pull the thing out. I just spent 2 hours trying to get this thing out. This part is what broke off down inside the head. You tracking so far? So what I did is I welded a nut to the top part after I broke away all the plastic, I welded a nut to it and then attempted to twist the nut, and the concept was going to be it was going to twist the shaft right here and break the carbon loose and allow the thing to come out, right? Because if you can break that bond, then you can get some motion out of it.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it broke off in the head. So I know it can't come out through the top. My only option is to try to drive it in to the cylinder. That make sense?
That's gonna be.
And then try to get a magnet to pull it out through the spark plug hole. If I can't do that, got to pull the head off the engine so I can get the piece of metal out of the chamber so then we can put it back together. If I got to pull the head off, we're going to do the AFM/DOD delete. You know how this goes into 4-cylinder mode and V8 mode and 4-cylinder mode? Well, I don't like that system because it fails and causes engines to be destroyed. So if I got to pull the heads off, then we're going to do the DOD delete. That requires that the camshaft be changed. If I'm going to go through all that and change the camshaft,
for like a week.
so if I'm going to change the camshaft, then I'm going to have to get like a real nice lopey kind of camshaft. So that we could conceivably upgrade the whole assembly thing here. We could.
I wouldn't mind that, but I do need a vehicle.
Yeah, I know.
Does a minivan work?
Yeah. We got to bring that battery charger home. But yeah, that's why we have a Nissan Rogue now, because the van and my truck is at my house, and yeah. So now we got Enterprise coming over here. I feel like a customer.
No, we have to go there. They don't deliver.
Oh, come on.
So I have to have someone drive me over there so I could pick it up, because I have to go pay the deposit. We got to go.
We got to go. Okay, you go. I'll get you a ride. Just call Uber. And then
What?
Yeah. You go get the thing, and I'll make my way home however I get home. Okay. I'm gonna keep working on this. So
okay, yes.
Back to the task at hand.
Let's do that then.
All right, let's do that.
I gotta go. Bye.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
All right, bye. Okay, so I have an idea. I got an idea. It's not coming out, but it might go in. So here's what we're gonna do. The diameter of this guy right here, that's 0.292 inches. We need to find something we can hammer on that's shorter than that. And I've already done such things. I have a bolt here. The bolt is almost smaller than 0.292 inches, right? We got 0.308. Down here at the shank, we got 285. It's gonna fit perfectly, but we've got to get rid of that threaded portion. So I'm going to chop that off with ring, where's my saw? There it is. I'm gonna chop this off and grind it out and make it smooth so I don't ruin a cylinder head, and we're gonna try to punch that thing through into the chamber. Loud noises. Excellent. Safety squints. Gonna deburr it. Looks pretty flattish to me. There. So, let's test this on one of the known good holes here. And that goes in the hole. Let's go over here to this one. And not even close to going in the hole. Yep, all right. All right, let's blow all that oil out of there. What do we got? What are we looking at in here? I can't see. I'm on in here with an illuminator in hand and see what we can see inside of this. Oh, that's tore up. in there. Oh my God. All right. Some of the seal is still kind of jammed in there too. Pluck all that out. Well, found out why it didn't come out. Look at all that crustiness in there, all that corrosion or whatever. Don't know why that's in there, but none of the other ones have it. That corrosive business has caused this whole deal here. So here's that bolt we were grinding on. I ground in a little nipple to it so that nipple can ride inside of the hole on that injector, just to kind of center it so I can't get the injector like off center or whatever. So with that thing in position, we're gonna try to tap this into the head some to see if it's gonna move. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling good about this getting repaired. I might be pulling the heads off, but we'll see. See if this thing's gonna move. It's either gonna go in and we can extract it or it's not. Be right back.
Be right back.
I'm gonna go get our new Nissan.
I am, yep.
It's not feeling, that didn't feel good. Can't see. Yeah, this is bad. I'm in trouble. It's not even gonna budge. Nope. That's permanent. We're done. We are done. Oh. Well, looks like Lauren's Tahoe is getting a hot cam. Hopefully it's not coming out. And 2 hours later, this is what my life has turned into. A rental Mazda 3. Is that what this is? A Mazda 3?
It's a Mazda R CX5.
It's
CX.
driving me nuts.
Yeah, it's a CX5, not
a
a
CX5.
RS5, yeah.
Well, my life has turned into a 30,000 mile CVT transmission Easter egg Mazda CX thing.
I'm very uncomfortable in this vehicle.
Yeah, I mean it's a car. That's
I know,
the thing.
but I feel like I'm like on the windshield.
Like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Windows are clear. We're low to the ground.
I'm vulnerable.
Yeah, you're a truck person.
I don't have the tinted windows and
Yeah. Well, anyway, we had to rent this car because my other cars aren't here at work, and I have more people than spaces.
oh, the kids are gonna love the back.
Yeah, we're gonna tell our kids that we traded in the Tahoe and bought this. I think it's gonna be awesome.
bad.
So here's the plan, and Lauren doesn't know this yet, but well, she knows this part. The cylinder head has to come off so I can get that piece of metal out of the thing, if I can get it to come out. I can drill holes in it and I'll get it out, but the head's got to come off. Since the head's coming off, I'm gonna delete the DOD system, AFM system, and because of that, you have to replace the cam. And if I'm going to replace the cam, then we're going to put a really nice cam in it.
What does that mean?
It means it's going to go blub, 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 and make a bunch of noise and more loudness and more horsepowers.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing.
Nice.
I was one misfire away from a complete top-end upgrade. So that is the plan for in the future. As of right now, clearly we have nothing more to offer you. This video has come to a conclusion. We've left for the day in our super awesome rental, and I'm headed home. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. Clearly there's gonna be a part 2 on this. I gotta come in like 4 o'clock in the morning and start tearing this thing down tomorrow. And we'll see what happens when I get the head off, and we'll see if I can get that piece of metal out of there. Hey, you can't do that. You're on the internet.
I couldn't, because you
long,
said 4 in the
tiring
morning.
day? 4 in the morning.
It's been a day.
Yes, it has. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. See you later. Let us know in the comment section down below what you think about this scenario that I got us into, and I will see you guys in the next one. In a day, in a video, in a transmission.
Bye.